What's up guys, Lang Whitaker here from Grind City Media. It's time for another Cooking with Lang. And I asked on Twitter what you guys wanted me to make. A few people said, do you have any vegetarian recipes? And yes, in fact, I do. I try not to eat meat all day long until dinner time. It's a way to kind of keep things lighter and not add up all the calories. Then at dinner time, I eat whatever I want. One thing I make a lot is lentils. We have it a lot with dinner as a side dish. It can be a main. It keeps in the refrigerator really well, and you can use it for lunch a couple days a week after you make them. I love making lentils. We're gonna make lentils tonight. Have you ever made them? Because they're super easy to make. We should make lentils. It's Cooking with Lang. Let's do it. Today we are cooking vegetarian and it's time to make lentils. First thing we do with the lentils is we're gonna cook some vegetables. Sort of create a base for it. So we're gonna start with celery, carrots, garlic. I found half a red onion in the fridge. You can use any vegetables you want. This is just what I kind of happen to have around. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna take the peel off. Best we can, and then lay it down flat so it doesn't move, can't slide around. I'd make one incision across carefully, make another one a little higher up carefully. This piece is still sticking. I'm going to tear that off. Then we're going to make little cuts this way, kind of just using the end of the knife. Then, watch this. That's how you dice an onion. Not too hard. You gotta sweat the vegetables a little bit, get them a little softer, a little sweeter before we add the lentils. So, got a pan here. It's not on high. It's probably like 7 out of 10. We're put in some olive oil, and then we're gonna just put in these vegetables. You can hear them sizzle. This combination is kind of a classic French thing. Onion, carrot, celery. It's called mirepoix. A lot of Cajun cooking uses the same thing, but with bell peppers instead of carrots. But these are just going to get nice and soft. We don't want to burn them. We just want them to kind of get translucent. And the one thing I would do at this stage is we're going to put a little bit of salt in there now, because salt draws moisture out of things, and we're trying to draw the moisture out of these vegetables by cooking them here. So it's probably a teaspoon of salt and a little black pepper. And then I'm just going to give it a stir. Oops. Keep an eye on it. It's been about 3 or 4 minutes. You can see they're a little bit less vibrant than they were before. I turned the heat down to about half. I want to add some herbs in. I grabbed some rosemary, fresh herbs, whatever you have at work. Thyme, rosemary, if you have oregano, it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get some flavor in there. I'm just going to give these kind of a rough chop. They're going to cook for a while, so they're going to break down a good bit, but just trying to kind of get whatever herbaceousness we can get in there right now. So these are going to go in. And then one last thing, I'm throwing in a little bit of chili flake. Give it a little bit of heat. Kind of cut through the richness of these beans once we get the beans in. But I think this probably needs another 2-3 minutes, and then we'll be ready to put the beans in. Let's talk for a minute about lentils. What are they? They're a bean, I think. I don't know. They're healthy for you. Here's one thing I know. If you look on the nutrition on the back, 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 sodium, about 35% of your daily fiber, and about 15% of your protein for one serving. So super healthy. Don't have a ton of flavor. It's kind of what you can put into them. So I'm going to do about a cup of these. I'm just going to guess. I'm not really measuring. And then I rinse them off, and then we're going to put them in the vegetables. The vegetables are really good. They're cooked down. It smells amazing right now. Like the onion smell and the carrot, sweetness from the carrot. The celery kind of has that watery scent smell to me, but I love it. So I'm going to put in these lentils, which are rinsed off. You just kind of want to coat them in that flavor of the vegetables. You hear it sizzling and popping a little bit because of the water from the lentils, but kind of getting those in there. Now we're going to add some water. You could use water if you want. You could use chicken broth if you don't want it to be vegetarian, but I'm going to use some water. And I don't know exactly how much I'm going to use. I'm just going to use enough to kind of cover the beans by about an inch. And we're going to get it up to a boil. But the one thing I thought I would do to just add a little bit of flavor, that's about perfect right there. Why waste it? The one thing I thought we could do to add a little flavor is a bouillon cube. This is a vegetable bouillon cube. I'm just gonna squeeze it with my fingers and put it in there. Let it flavor that liquid. So it's like using veggie stock. It's coming to a boil now, so I'm gonna put a lid on it. I'm gonna turn it down to low, just enough to let it kind of simmer. And now you're gonna do something else. Go do your taxes, go do your expenses, turn some emails, sit down, play a video game. Lots of stuff you can do. Go clean out the backyard, go to the garage, go take the trash out. It's actually been about 30 minutes since we put these lentils on. I came over and checked about every 10, 15 minutes. Got them to the point now where I like them. See, they're nice and plump. A little liquidy. If you want them liquidy, great. You can use a little less water if you want them a little drier. Also, they're going to sit here for a little bit and they'll kind of absorb a little more of that liquid. I'm going to taste them for salt and pepper, but you don't need salt or pepper. They're good. So we're going to let them sit here like 5 minutes, chill out, and then it'll be time to eat. It's time to finish the lentils, and this is really what pushes this over the top and makes it not just a boring meal. This really gives it a lot of flavor and life to it. You can see how they've gotten thicker since they came off the stove. They've been just kind of sitting here absorbing the leftover liquid. Now, here's what I always do. I add a little bit of vinegar to it. You can use red wine vinegar. This is apple cider. Something with a little flavor, but I think almost anything, it always can use a little bit of acid. It doesn't really need salt usually or heat or anything like that. Acid always helps. So I just put about a tablespoon of vinegar in. And then I use Dijon mustard or whole grain mustard, just some sort of mustard, which is also heavy on vinegar and was one of the main ingredients. But this will give it a little bit of flavor and it'll add a little bit of texture to it. Stir that in. And if you don't know what's in there, you probably won't be able to say, oh, it tastes like mustard. But I think it just gives it such a nice background flavor. And people don't always know what it is, but people say, wow, these lentils taste really good. Last thing, a little parsley. Fresh parsley at the end is going to make it look nice and give it a little bit of a kind of a fresh, herby flavor right at the very end. So that's pretty much it. Now we're going to serve it. I toasted a couple thick slices of bread and a spoon. And I think for dinner, like that'll be good right there. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil on there. Can't finish it off, but that's it. Lentils for dinner. Time to eat dinner. We're having lentils and they're gonna be awesome. I know. They're hot. So the first thing is that it almost tastes meaty. There's no meat in it, but it's so hearty and rich. But it's not heavy at the same time because it has that vinegar flavor going through it and the herbs we put in there. This is such a good meal. You can eat it as a meal. You can eat it almost like beans on toast. Probably how I'll eat it tonight. Then I'll eat this for lunch tomorrow, maybe for a couple days because we got a lot left over. But it's such a simple thing. It's easy to make. These beans cost like $1 at the grocery store. Simple to do, simple flavors. It's gonna be awesome. You can do it. This is Cooking with Lang. Go do it. Go make some lentils.